Welcome everyone. I'm here relaxed at my lodging and I tonight going to do a live Q&A. Every first Friday of the month I do a philosophical chat. But since I'm traveling, we're going to do the first 30 minutes strictly about travel, and then after that it'll be anything goes, anything beyond travel. I do these Q&As because you get to see me live. And I'm usually talking about travel. I'm usually talking about the places that I'm at. And since we are spending so much time together, many of you have asked to kind of get to know me a little bit better. And we all get to know each other a little bit better because maybe we'll ask you a few questions in this Q&A. So these first 30 minutes, ask me anything about travel, about Ireland, these first 30 minutes. I'm partying very hard with the banana. This is how you spend a very good Friday night. Oh yeah. "30 minutes about Ireland or travel." And then anything goes after that. Doreen says, "Have you had any Irish coffee?" Yeah, I've had, actually no, I have not had an Irish coffee yet. I'm not too terribly enthused for Irish coffee because I don't really like cream mixed with my coffee. And then beyond that, most bars probably would not do good coffee. So if I come into a situation, a place where they actually have great coffee, it's like a coffee bar, but they also have some whiskey, then I'll order a Irish coffee at least once. Also, I don't like drinking coffee too late at night, so that's why I haven't really drunk Irish coffee yet. So no, not yet. Patricia, are you in Ireland? Yes, I am, Patricia. I am indeed in Ireland. Beautiful, beautiful Ireland. And there was no banana in the last TikTok. There was, Kay. Oh yeah. There was a banana in that last TikTok. Gary says, "We were a little bit worried when you traveled that night with Darren." It was all okay, Gary. The thing is with Northern Ireland, a lot of people live through the Troubles. And naturally, Darren being a Belfast local, I assume, felt a little bit spooked because of all the cops. And with very good reason. There was a moment in the Troubles where the government enacted internment laws, which meant that they can arrest anyone without any due reason, without any real reason of suspicion or any evidence, without any warrant, and they can withhold them as long as they want. And the British police and army had that for many, many years. And I think the people who lived through that will naturally be spooked by the police. So yeah, when we went yesterday, there was a whole lot of police presence, which definitely, me not knowing too much about Northern Ireland felt spooked, and I imagine Darren, for his own reasons, felt spooked. But overall, many people have told me that Belfast is the safest city. So yeah, Belfast is one of the safest cities in Europe, and I think it was just a very bad luck that we encountered so much police. And I didn't show the police, so you gotta take my word for it, because the reason I'm not gonna point the camera to the police is because the British police, from my experience in filming in London, don't really like cameras pointing at them. Are you going to Limerick? A lot of people have told me not to go to Limerick specifically. So let me know what's in Limerick, because I've been explicitly told by many Irish people don't go Limerick. For people who are curious, Limerick is a nearby city. So great question. Great question, Des. Audrey said, I felt uncomfortable too. Yeah. Do you prefer traveling alone with company? Bea. Bea, that is a great question. You know, I love traveling alone. And it's wonderful traveling alone because I can truly focus on my work. I'm making live videos, I'm making TikToks, I'm also doing a freelance job. I'm juggling a lot of things at the same time. I'm researching for the videos and the TikToks. TikToks are also posted on Facebook and sometimes they're posted on YouTube as well. And all of that, you know, I'm juggling all of that stuff, and it's nice to have peace of mind where I can just kind of focus on my own and do it. Because if I were to travel with someone, if they're not a part of the team, if they're not part of the work, then I'm usually the type of person that if I'm hanging out with someone, I like giving them my full attention. I like being with them 100%. I just don't like multitasking, and if I'm going to travel with someone, I usually like being there with them. So yeah, it's a bit tricky, but I think I am more and more wanting to travel with someone, and I've been doing a lot of thinking, meeting people on this journey. Through Ireland, through Italy, I met a lot of friends. Mexico, I met people. I realized, oh, it's very nice to kind of meet people and kind of hang out with them and get to know others and build relationships. And yeah, I'm now kind of more and more wanting to hang out with others and maybe soon travel with someone. But beyond that, also, I really want to kind of work with a television production company. I want to like make a show, like a big show, or as well. I want to like make YouTube vlogs where someone is filming and editing, similar to what you see a YouTuber like Brett Conti is doing. So Brett Conti has someone filming for him, and I think he has someone editing for him as well. I want to do that as well. Because the reason I like live video is because I can give you my full attention, 100% focus on you, because I'm the one holding the camera usually. But when it comes to a vlog, if I'm the one filming it and I'm the one hosting it, I feel like my attention is being scattered too much because I'm focusing on how to make the shots. I'm focusing on how to how I'm gonna edit it. I'm focusing on how to do the perfect take, and all that kind of is. It's hard. So I feel like I'm not giving the best performance on camera when I'm filming a vlog by myself. That's why my short TikTok videos, I like it because I do them in one take, or 2 or 3 takes maximum. But I usually do them in one take, and then I edit them. So that one take, it feels like the live video just condensed into one tiny part, and it's punchy. Someone earlier asked me, sorry I didn't catch your name, thank you so much for asking me before. You asked me, why am I doing short live videos recently? You have to take into consideration that I have done some long live videos in the Guinness Storehouse. It was more than 3 hours, almost 4 hours. But the reason I've been doing short videos is because Ireland really doesn't have cities that are conducive to a very long live video. That's my opinion. So I found, I'll tell you from a professional perspective, someone who is a professional live streamer in terms of walking around. The best ways to make a live stream long is to be in a city where there's a lot of things happening, where it's relatively safe, and where there's a variety of things I can do. So Rome is like that. Venice was like that. New York is like that. London is like that. Paris is like that. There's a lot of cities like that. Not so much in Ireland. Ireland is similar to the smaller cities of the US. After 1 or 2 hours, I kind of run out of things to do. And then when it comes to covering restaurants, Irish food culture is different from Italy or what has been happening in New York. A lot of things are indoors, usually cramped spaces, and dark, and also they tend to have music, and also they tend to have bad service, cell phone service. So all that combined makes kind of making a long video, say through Cork, spontaneous, where I just pop into a restaurant. There's not that many fast food joints. And then to pop into a restaurant, it's a bit tricky. It's a bit tedious. Where in New York it's not. London it's not. Parts of Italy it wasn't. Greece it wasn't either. But it's a bit tedious here. And when it comes to nature, unfortunately there's not service in the countryside, because otherwise I would have 100% have done a very long live video with Darren, with other people who have driven me around. I will 100% done a very long live video with Darren covering all that beautiful coast of Northern Ireland, but there's no service. Northern Ireland just had terrible service overall from what I experienced. But just in general, the Irish countryside does not have steady service. You have good service in the towns and in the cities, but not in the countryside. So that's why I can't really do either a long live video drive through the countryside. So that's why the live videos are shorter than, say, they were in Venice. Because Venice, there was a lot of things to do. I mean, Venice is an epic city to walk around for a few hours alone and stop at the coffee shop and stop at the restaurant and stop at the pizzeria and stop at the bakery and take a water taxi and do all that stuff. You pop into a museum. Irish cities are really not meant for that. But what they are fun is the people that I encounter, and also there's good crack. You know, C-R-A-I-C, Irish crack. There's good crack. It's fun to hang out with people, but it's hard to capture that in live video. I think the best example of good Irish crack that I was able to show you is having dinner at Kay's house. That was, I think, the closest thing I could show you to good Irish crack. But Ireland is more kind of a place that is going out with friends or going out to meet people and drinking and having good chats, joking around. It's hard to convey that in live video. At least my style. I know some people kind of sometimes do live videos in bars, but my style, it's hard to do it. I appreciate the short video, says Veronica. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you do. Feel free to ask me anything. I might have missed a few questions. Hey, Mir, how's it going? Forgive me for the question, but I'm going a bit backwards here. What was the deal with the bus tour guide? Please elaborate. I took a bus tour in Northern Ireland, and the guy went very fast. He was driving very fast, and then beyond that, he was the bus ride was supposed to be Titanic themed. Most of the bus ride was themed around the Troubles. For people who don't know, the Troubles were a 30-year period of terrorism and violence between different factions and the British military. So he was focusing on that, and then beyond that, when he was saying some history tidbit, he was saying something that we weren't there yet. He was a two ahead. So he was telling us a tidbit about something that we would see 5 minutes from now. And then when we got to that place 5 minutes later, he would tell us a tidbit from another place 5 minutes later. So it was very disorienting. So that's why the bus tour was bad. And I had a few people tell me that they were remiss that I covered negative things in Northern Ireland. But I just had the bad luck. I couldn't stay for more than 2 days because Northern Ireland is very, very expensive when it comes to lodging. There's budgetary constraints, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. I don't have a limited budget. So because of not having a limited budget, I couldn't stay for really in Belfast. That was the most expensive city of all the cities in Ireland thus far. I couldn't stay. And then I just had the bad luck of going on a Titanic bus tour and it being about the Troubles. And then I'm here with a local, Darren, who was so kind enough to drive us around. I really wanted to get his perspective of the walls. I don't think the bus tour guide gave anywhere near a good perspective of the Troubles. So I had to do that video. But I'm sure Belfast has a lot of wonderful things. The countryside was really beautiful, gorgeous. Highly recommend going to the countryside. So yeah, I think Belfast has plenty of awesome things to do that are not centered around the political turmoil that happened before. But yeah, I didn't have the chance to cover that. Ronald says, you can ask for Google on the advance of those super chats. Yeah, maybe I can. So impressed, I loved it. Yeah, there's a Titanic Memorial Garden in Cork. Oh, cool. Matt, thank you so much for letting me know. I'll look into it. Love you to come back to Mead. There's a lot more to see here. Oh yeah, Oliver. Mead was really awesome. You have been very welcome to stay with us, but we haven't had a spare room or bed. Yeah, oh Paula, no worries. I appreciate the thought. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Is your neck still sore from that bus ride? Says George. No, it's not. Cherub says Belfast City is crap now. Unfortunately, it's overrated and needs more development. Yeah, everyone has their different opinions. I don't think I could have done that many days in Belfast. I don't think I could have done my classic live videos in Belfast either. Like most Irish cities, I don't think I could have done a long live video walking around. A lot of the food places were closed by like 6, 7 p.m. The shadow on my wall is artistic. Yeah, that's a reflection of a painting. Judith. Will you be visiting the UK? I would love to, Scott, but it's out of my budget. What is the process? What is the process in landing your own show? Says Susie. That is a great question. It's a little bit of a black box to get hired for a show. There is no real one answer to get to TV or to work on a streaming show. So what happens is sometimes a producer might see someone in another show and they might consider them for their new show. That happens quite a lot. So you see the same host kind of jump around. The other thing is a producer might see you in another medium and say to themselves, oh, this guy might be very valuable on TV because he's already popular and so. So that happened with Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain didn't necessarily have any TV connections, but two producers read his book and saw him probably speak about it and thought to themselves, This guy has something special going on. He'll be a very interesting guy to do a season with. And they got it greenlit. So that happened to Anthony Bourdain. That usually happens to other people. For example, Josh Gates, who's really, really good. Josh Gates is probably one of the better travel show hosts out there right now. He starred in like a contest show where it was like a treasure hunt, and they had to like hunt for treasure in all these different cities around the world. It was like some type of adventure travel treasure hunt show. And he was very young. He was like 24, 23 years old. But he was so charismatic on camera for that show that he got picked up for another show and then eventually ended up doing Expedition Unknown. And Expedition Unknown ended up being spin off into like so many different shows. He has like crazy amount of shows doing. So I think that's how they picked him up, is just seeing him on another show. But he wasn't hosting, he was just a contestant. And then an acquaintance of mine actually co-hosts with Josh Gates in Expedition Unknown X, I think it's called. And it's the other guy, not Jessica Chobot, but the other guy. And he ended up getting picked up because he was already he's already like a presenter on social media. So he does already like science explainers on social media. And he already did a few commercials with like Delta Airlines. Phil Torres, thank you so much, Brian. Phil Torres. Yeah, I met him a few times, so we know of each other. We know each other, but I'm not by no means friends with friends. We're not that close. But he was seen in the Delta commercial and was seen in his like Instagram videos. And then somehow they picked him up. I think he might have had an agent, but I'm not sure. So there are different ways. I think my best case scenario for getting on television or streaming is by pure happenstance, a producer sees my show. Or somehow it gets to them. So I think that is the key. Is somehow my show has to be seen by a producer that somehow thinks I'm valuable for television, because not everyone's gonna think that. So I've only spoken to one producer thus far for television, and he was considering me for a real estate show, but I just don't like real estate. I'm not really that good at real estate. I've never been a real estater, so it wasn't really a good match. And it just didn't work out. Have you applied to a travel job on the BBC? I would not do a 9-to-5 job at any media company, or period. I wouldn't do a 9-to-5 ever again. I don't think so. I don't like the idea of being a video producer. I already tried that before at Vox Media and did not like it. Judith says, why? I would love to see you in a real estate show. You know, after second thought, I could do a real estate show if it was about something about history or something haunted or legends. I definitely, I think, could do something fun with history in that regard. Barris says, broadcasting is not a 9-to-5 job, unfortunately. Yeah, is the thing is in Brian Barris, great comment. In new media, Vox Media, Vice, BuzzFeed, in new media, there is 9-to-5 jobs for hosting on camera. They're video producers. They're called video producers, but they host on camera, and they also sometimes film, and they also sometimes edit. And you see that with Vice, and you see that also with the guys at BuzzFeed. That's the best example. So yeah, there is 9-to-5 jobs of being on camera for companies. BBC also has like shows online as well. But I wouldn't do that type of thing. I would love to be on contract. I would love to do a season of a show. You could specialize in castles, says Mildred. Then I might consider a real estate show, yeah. I could see you on Vice, says Audrey. I think I'm a bit too nice for Vice. I don't know. The guys in Vice are like cool. I see myself as cool, but not in the Vice way. I don't think I would vibe with Vice. I'm more. I think I would align more with like a Discovery or a History channel or Netflix or BBC. Hyde says an architecture show. Yeah, I think so. I could do an architecture show. I didn't realize Unsolved left BuzzFeed. Ooh, they did, Stephanie. So Stephanie's referring to an amazing show called Unsolved. I did not realize that BuzzFeed left it. It was a really good show. And those guys are really good at hosting it. Disney Nat Geo show, says Lauren. You know, Lauren, I don't think I would vibe with Disney either. At least with Nat Geo. I think, ideally, the type of show I really want to make is something that is more dealing with elements that are usually not talked about in shows. The occult, mythology, haunted history, things that are supernatural, and also history that goes more into speculating what happened. So Nat Geo is kind of a very serious channel, very serious magazine as well. I don't know. I don't like being that serious. I like being looser. I like kind of being more imaginative. I like kind of going beyond the mainstream. That's why in my short videos you see me talking about myth, legends, haunted things, the occult. I do videos about everything. Lauren says, I worked for Marvel and Disney. I didn't mesh with them well either. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I would love to work with Marvel. But yeah, I can imagine Disney. It's a bit hard. Netflix series, says Henry. Yes. Oh, yes. So I'll answer 2 more minutes. Any questions about about travel in Ireland? You need something to do. You need to do something where you stick to storytelling, in my opinion. You really have a talent for it. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Yeah, for example, today, walking around Cork, it's a new city. There's a lot of like huge groups of dudes walking around, young dudes. And walking around with the camera is a bit of a vulnerable position, especially in the country that I'm not so super familiar with, or a city that I'm not super familiar with. So it's hard to kind of like give you the best performance for storytelling in situations like tonight. But it's also a challenge, and that challenge is fun. So yeah, I would love to focus fully on the storytelling. I already do that with my short TikTok videos, but I would love to take that to bigger production, where I don't need to hold the camera. You need a food history show, says George. Yeah, I think food history would be so much fun. Yes, I agree. I'm a great history teller. Thank you so much. Have you heard of Lotus Hall in Wexford? No, I have not. I'll look into it. Shayla says, just enjoy. You're Irish, land of scholars. Enjoy the crack. If you want to travel in luxury with a challenging and exciting life, MI5 are looking for a new James Bond, says Gary. Indeed, they are. Well, not MI5, but the movie studio, MGM, Amazon now owns it. James Bond. They're looking for a new James Bond. But I'm American, so I automatically don't qualify. Yeah, Cork looked a little bit dark and dingy at the end of your live. Looking forward to seeing it in daylight. Yeah, I think it'll be better. Have you been working on any music ideas? No, but I really want to make more music. Oh yeah. Who answered that? Great question, Sunshine. Yeah, I want to make more music. You say a lot of shorts shows how super creative. You say a lot in your shorts, says Wendy. It shows how super creative you are. Thank you so much, Wendy. I love cramming a whole lot of information. I love cramming an epic story into 3 minutes or less. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I love it. So yeah, I'm so glad you enjoy the short videos. George says Ariel's new show is called Bus Tour Survival. All right, so no more questions about travel. Let me just go back and see if I missed any. I'll answer 2 or 3 more. All right, back. Let's see. Try BBC with their journalistic style. Yeah, I think BBC would be awesome. Have you learned any Irish while being here? Yeah, Giadich, Giaz Mudadich. Ked Milifaucha. Might not be pronouncing that the proper Irish, of course, but I'm doing my best. Ked Milifaucha, Faucha, which means welcome. Giadich, which means hello, God be with you, is the direct translation. Gias Mudadich, which means God and Mary be with you. And Slancha, which means cheers. Are you bringing any interesting souvenirs? Yeah, I got Guinness socks. And I got Guinness glasses. Drinking glasses. Very interesting and sympathetic. Well done in a sensitive subject, says Audrey. And thank you so much, Audrey. I'm glad you enjoyed the Troubles video. I have a TikTok to be posted on Troubles video, on the Troubles, so stay tuned. What do you think of Newgrange? I loved it. If streamers got together, who is chosen to be the designated survivor? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Ariel's new show is called Bus Tour Survival. Oh, that's funny. Would you consider telling stories to children? Says Judith. That is the greatest challenge, Judith. Oh, wow, yeah. Telling stories to kids is the greatest challenge. If you can get a kid entertained, I think that is a step closer to mastering storytelling. Have you had your fill of Guinness? I have had my fill of Guinness, Brian, yeah. Sunshine says, I've been enjoying your TikToks. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sunshine. All right, so feel free to ask anything beyond travel, beyond Ireland. No more travel, no more Ireland questions. I'm not going to answer anything more about travel or Ireland. Now, and ask anything you would like. The travel Q&A section is closed, shut. Now, we are opening the floodgates to the philosophical chat. Christine says, where are your kids? Thank you, Christine. I do have many kids tuning in. And then for the TikToks, I get a lot of young people following me. So it's fun. Best Irish writer. Oh, I don't know, McCulley's. I don't read too much literary fiction. But I do like Oscar Wilde. He has great quotes. Drew says, if I had kids, I would definitely introduce you to them and so they can tell you stories. Yeah. Do you have siblings? I won't answer personal questions specifically about family, but feel free to ask me anything else. Have you thought about doing educational programs for school? Says Guy. I'm not so interested in doing educational programming. The challenge with academic content is that you have to be precise because it's academic. Same thing with journalism. You can't be too willy-nilly, as they say in the U.S., gun-ho with academic content, with educational content, because you want to be accurate, you want to have sources, and you want to have specificity. And with that said, storytelling doesn't feel as free when you're discussing in an academic setting. Some people are really true masters at it, but generally you have to either be extremely well read on the subject. For example, I'm a fan of listening to lectures by Jordan Peterson. He knows psychology really well, in depth. Or like Carl Sagan, he knows science in depth. So they're able to tell stories in an engaging way in an academic setting. But it's hard. And storytelling does get bogged down in an educational setting. So while I can do an educational video, and maybe if someone is curious about working with me on doing that, I might be curious. But I like storytelling, and storytelling, you have to be fluid. I think storytelling, you can't get too bogged down with getting everything 100% correct. Because if you get everything super 100% correct, you're scripting. And when you're scripting, that's a different type of storytelling. And that type of storytelling is making a script, filming it, editing it. But I love telling stories verbally. Extemporaneously? How do I pronounce that word? Let me know again. It's that type of speaking where you speak completely without a script, without notes. And that storytelling, yes, it runs at the risk of not saying something not accurate, not speaking with proper grammar, which I do constantly. And then also beyond that, it runs at the risk of bending certain elements to make a fun story. Not outright lying, not outright being deceitful, because that is very lazy storytelling. But sometimes you do have to bend. Sometimes you have to dramatize certain elements. But I'm not here to tell you the truth academically. I'm not here to tell you the truth in a historical, academic, educational sense. I'm here to tell you the truth from the heart. The truth here. That's a different type of truth. I might not get every detail right if I tell a story about history. But I'm telling you some truth from my own heart and some truth from the heart of that story. And that is valuable, I think. That's what sparks people's curiosity on a deeper level than more than any fact can. It's what sticks with people. The stories, they stick with people for much longer than just telling you a mere tidbit or a fact. And MDN says that's why historical fiction can be more powerful. It can be, yeah. Ariel, what would be your favorite meal for a starter? Main course and pudding? Susie asked me when I travel with my future Scottish wife. So Susie and Gary, lovely Scottish couple that tunes in, are adamant that I will marry a Scottish lass. So yes, I would travel with her. And then what's my favorite favorite food? My favorite food, by all means, is burritos. And there's a burrito place. There's like 2 burrito places here with good reviews in Cork. So I might try a Irish burrito. Okay, let's see. Ronald ask a question. Any question you want to ask us or anyone specific? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, tell me, what's your biggest dream? What's your biggest dream? Are the burritos like Chipotle here? I think so, yeah, they're the same style. Are you planning to go to Puerto Rico anytime soon? Says Reverend Jenny Osorio. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Let me get a little bit more comfortable. All right. I have a great nook here, which is nice. And stay tuned. I'll show everyone a tour of where I'm staying at the end of my stay here. Roosevelt, hey, how's it going? Barb says you will have to marry someone who has the same penchant for travel and educating as you. Yes, indeed. Yes, I think so. Have you thought of going on Irish TV? Says Angela. I don't know how to get on Irish TV. Let me know how. Like your spontaneity when you tell the stories. The rest is up to you to research in depth if you like, says Irene. Yeah, that's why I like telling sometimes stories on the fly. A TV company should hire you to travel to various countries and report on the day and history here. Yeah. Jenny, am I planning to go to Puerto Rico? Yes, I am. At some point soon. Stay tuned. Why are so many streamers reluctant to share the details of their life with your followers? There are some like New York Live with Mickey, James, and Carla that share more of their lives, says Lois. Great question, Lois. It's all up to personal preference. I enjoy my privacy. And I know these videos live on basically forever. And that's why my show is not called Ariel Vieira's Travel Show. Maybe on TikTok I'm using my name, but Urbanist is a show, so it's not about me, despite doing this video once a month. And I really never want to do anything that is specifically about me. I want to tell stories about history, about other cool subjects, but it isn't about me. So I like my own privacy. I prefer to have privacy. And I know that this survives on forever, these videos. And I'm thinking big. I don't intend to stay exactly where I am right now. I know at any moment a video can go extremely viral. I can work on a television show that gets a whole lot of views, a whole lot of high ratings, or I can do some type of project that really gets me a lot of notoriety at any moment. And when that happens, I'll be exposed on a level that I haven't ever been exposed in these past 5 years. And it's better to be safe than sorry. And I think it is important to establish boundaries. It is very important to establish boundaries. On a personal level in your lives, it's important to establish boundaries. If you're together with someone, I think, you don't need to tell them everything. You don't need to tell someone everything. I think it's rather foolish to demand someone to tell you everything. It's not keeping secrets per se. you don't need to divulge every detail about everything. It's important to establish boundaries on a personal level. And I think it's also important to establish boundaries if you're a public figure, like I am. I'm a public figure. I have an audience of 400,000 people. I'm a public figure. And my boundaries are certain aspects of my private life. Those are my boundaries. And people who don't respect those boundaries, you won't be sticking around too long on my channel. Yeah, that's why. But everyone has different reasons. Everyone. So I can't answer this for any other content creator. Laurie says, I like to keep mystery of my husband. Laurie, I am very curious. But that's understandable. The public doesn't need to know everything about public figures. No. What question are you surprised that no one has asked yet, says Chris. People have asked pretty much every question. I don't know. I truly can't answer that. Yeah, okay. I like being asked questions about how to tell stories. I rarely get that opportunity because I haven't been interviewed too much about my storytelling. I've been interviewed how to do live video, but I haven't been interviewed too much about storytelling. I have like 2 or 3 interviews from podcasters that ask me about storytelling. And I love that conversation. Where are you going to next after Ireland? Stay tuned, guy. Stay tuned. No more questions about travel, so feel free to ask me anything. Are you left-handed or right-handed? Left-handed. But I am ambidextrous in the context where I write with my left hand. But I play handball, I play sports. This is my stronger hand. This is my stronger hand, and this is my more precision hand. So yeah. Usually a lefty would be like if most lefties, if they write with their left hand, they usually would play a sport mainly with their left hand. But I usually play my sports with my right hand. So technically ambidextrous. Reverend Jenny Osario says, I'm left-handed and lefties are very artistic. Which Airbnb can you live in forever, says Susie. Oh my God. That Airbnb in Santorini. Oh, that was a great Airbnb. The camera perspective makes it look like you don't know left and right, says Clemens. It's because it's in selfie mode. Who has inspired my storytelling? By far, the person who has inspired my storytelling the most has been Alan Watts. Lorraine says, I have big hands. Yes. You know what they say about a person with big hands, right? I got big gloves. Very big gloves. Cynthia. Oh, Cynthia. Okay, Cynthia has a very important question, everyone. Cynthia says, what's your favorite scary movie? Cynthia, hold on. You're not right by my door, right, Cynthia? No, that's a good question, Cynthia. Favorite scary movie? I don't watch too many horror films. But my favorite scary movie, I think the scary movie that has really taken me on a kind of a crazy ride, that really kind of it was enthralling and kind of, a touch me so hard is The Descent. The Descent. That movie. I've only seen it once, and it's still fresh in my mind. The Descent. Let me know, what's your favorite scary film? And ironically, I've been very fascinated by caves ever since. Plain Cheeseburger says that movie sucks. Plain Cheese. We all have different opinions. Scream is my favorite scary movie. Oh, that's good. Oh my god, that was a recent one. Oh no, when the Descent came out a little bit more than 10 years ago. A little bit more than 10 years ago. My favorite scary movie is Aliens. The second one, Aliens, plural. That was not so scary, but the first one definitely is scary. I think The Shining is scary. Yeah, Demetrius. Tingler, says Susan. Ooh, Tingler. I went out to watch that movie. I don't know what it is about, but just the name. Ooh, Tingler. Oh, I don't want to be tingled by the Tingler. Great personality. Just love the shirts, says Anne. Thank you so much, Anne. Appreciate it. Kay says I can't watch scary movies. Yeah, I personally don't watch scary movies anymore. I don't watch them because why would I put myself through hell and back? I'm gonna grab some juice. Juice. The best thing. The best that Ireland has to offer. Kathy says, I like sci-fi fantasy. I tried watching Jeepers Creepers and it was a cringe fest. I really do enjoy that movie, Jeepers Creepers. That was a fun movie. More comedy than horror. Irish shirt is needed. And are you referring to turtleneck? You want me to wear a turtleneck? With the tweed jacket? Let me know. Should I get a turtleneck with a tweed jacket? Favorite movie theater snack, says S. Fields. Oh, I love these questions. Favorite theater snack. I love going to AMC theaters in the US. And they make, they used to make, I'm not sure if they make it anymore, but chicken nuggets. They made this chicken tenders. Oh my god, I love a good chicken tenders with my film. Oh, or they do the mozzarella sticks. But in terms of classic theater snack, Reese's. Oh, I love a good box of Reese's Pieces with a good sugary Coca-Cola. Oh yeah. Sugar overload right there. Lauren says favorite foreign film. That's a good question. Favorite foreign film. Wow. I've seen a lot that I like. But favorite one. The thing that comes to mind right now is The Bicycle Thief. That was a really heart-wrenching film. Yeah, really heart-wrenching film, The Bicycle Thief. Gary says James Bond is not a foreign film. let us know, what's your favorite foreign film? Reverend Jenny Osario says Napoli. So yeah, The Bicycle Thief also takes place, I think, in Naples. So yeah, that's awesome. Favorite actress, says Kathy. Oh, that's a good question, Kathy. The actress I had, I always get heart eyes when I see her on screen, is Felicity Jones. the actress I would work with, if I were to, when I direct a movie. Oh, who would I work with? There's a few. These are good questions, ladies and gentlemen. Who would I work with? I have a few male actors that I would definitely work with, but female actors. Yeah, no one really comes to mind right now, but I think, yeah, no one really comes to mind right now. Where I work with Meryl Streep. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Susie. No, I would not work with Meryl Streep. She's a super talented actress. I deeply admire her. But I would work with Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse Ronan, yeah. I would 100% work with Saoirse Ronan. Guy says, favorite movie producer. You know, I don't really think too much about producers, but I think the producer that has really inspired me most recently is Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is the guy who produced all the Marvel films of the same cinematic universe, and he produced X-Men films, and he produced the original Spider-Man films. So Kevin Feige, number one, I think, producer. A guy who produced, what is it, 22, 23, 24 movies. 24 movies. Something along those lines. And a few TV shows. They're all interconnected. That's mind-blowing. He just hit it out of the ballpark, and he did it so well. So that is an achievement that no other producer has done before. Would I work with Kate Winslet? I would work with Kate Winslet. Hell yes, I would. Sorry, Don't Look as the Venice movie, says MDN. Oh, cool. My husband, to me, he put a scary movie on our first date. He saw it first, so he knew where to scare me. I still married him, says Lori. That's a very interesting first date. Feige has a strong, clear vision for damn sure, says Anthony. Okay, so everyone, let me give you a perspective. For people who don't know, as I mentioned, Kevin Feige was the man who produced all the Marvel films. They're all interconnected, called the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now a few TV shows. The Marvel films started a little bit more than 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I think, give or take. Was it 2009, 2010? I think 2009 was the first one, with Iron Man. I used to be so addicted to a movie media site called upcomingmovies.com. And this was back, I was reading this when I was pre-teen. I was very young. So this was like 2002, 2003. I was reading this site called upcomingmovies.com. I don't think it really exists anymore. On this site, there was constant posts about this random producer who wanted to make a movie with Iron Man, with Thor, with Hulk, with Captain America, all interconnected. And I was reading about this in 2002-ish. And this man, who was some unknown producer at the time, was Kevin Feige. He was talking about an interconnected Marvel universe about 10 years, a little bit less than 10 years, before he even got to make it. That is so fascinating. He has such a strong vision. It predated even the first film by many years. And if you read those posts, if they're still accessible, he even talks about what happens in the first Avengers, in the third Avengers film, which is Thanos. He talks about that already almost 20 years ago. So that blows my mind. Brenda says, no questions. Just wanted to know how much you enjoy my videos. Hey, Brenda. Thank you so much for tuning in. Brenda is urbanist from Maine. And as I'm here in good old Ireland, I've been reminded of Maine over and over again. A lot of places here look like Maine. The people are as friendly as the people were in Maine. And also, a lot of towns have the same names. Belfast, Maine, Bangor, Maine. There's a few other. Londonderry, Maine, I think there was one. So there's a few towns that are named the same as Irish places. Do you agree with Oscar picks from the past, says Ronald? No, I usually disagree with the Oscars. Usually, yeah. Though I agree with this past Oscar. I think it was really cool that the Parasite won. What are your favorite bands? That's a great question, Stephanie. I have a whole lot of favorite bands. I used to be a music blogger for 6 years. I wrote on a daily basis. Someone asked me if I have a banana nearby. I do. I have quite a lot of bananas. I already ate 2. This is freshly squeezed juice. That's awesome. So, what was I talking about? I forgot. Irene says, I lost track of the Marvel movies since my grandchildren go by themselves. I used to take them. Oh, cool, or Irene. So yeah, Brenda, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope all is well in Maine. I can't wait to go back to Maine, actually. Favorite bands. Favorite bands. Oh, wow. This is a good juice. All right. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Favorite bands. Favorite bands. I used to be a music blogger for 6 years, so I talked so much about music. I love what you're hearing right now in the background. I love synthwave. My favorite synth artist is Calm Trues. Calm Trues. I love his synth music. But the band that I've been most recently addicted to again is Passion Pit. Specifically a song called The Reeling, and they also have another song called Sleepyhead. Passion Pit. Like a peach pit. Passion Pit. That album that they made 10 years ago is a modern classic. And listening to that music again immediately put me back into that time. That time was very special for me. 10 years ago, 2009, around when Passion Pit came out with that album. Because it was, I started going out to Brooklyn. I started really hanging out at loft parties, going to concerts. I met so many new people. It was a blossoming period of my life. And that was really, really fun to kind of relive those vibes back again. Any favorite DJs? Asked McCulley's. You know, I don't listen to too many favorite DJs, but I do really admire Skrillex. If you listen to Skrillex, listen very carefully. He really is a great composer. You're too young for the Allman Brothers. Yeah, Reverend Jenny. People always mention the Allman Brothers. I have not listened to them yet. I'll check them out. What's the most hilarious thing you've encountered in your travels? Says Ronald. Ooh, great question. I don't know. Oh, someone earlier asked me, so I'll kind of answer your question. Someone earlier asked me, have I been spotted in Ireland? Yeah, I've been spotted in Ireland. I got spotted twice in a bar in Kilkenny. And it was very funny because in Kilkenny, I was only there, I only spent, 4 nights in Kilkenny? Something along those lines? 5 nights? And I felt like I already knew the town. I was like waving to people. I lived in New York City my entire life. I never walked through a neighborhood in New York where I'm like waving to the locals. But in Kilkenny, I was like, oh, there's the person at the coffee shop. Oh, hey, person at the bakery. So it was really cool. I felt like I knew the town in Kilkenny. So yeah, I got spotted in Kilkenny by a lot of people. I got spotted maybe like twice in that bar and like two other times after that. Kay says Kilkenny has that effect on people. Yeah, Kilkenny felt like a very small town, in a very good way. In a very good way. Favorite Irish dish? For me, the lamb shank. I love the lamb shank, which Kay made when I see. I'll post the Instagram stories in the mega posts in the stories soon, so you can see the replays. But yeah, do you mind when people say hello? Yes. Oh no, I don't. If I'm walking, I'm okay. If I'm walking, I'm more than okay that you say hello. Always happy to say hi for a few seconds. But if I'm eating, please don't approach me. To me, food is a sacred thing. I realize that. Of course, people have approached me before while eating, but no hard feelings with that. But I end up realizing that to me, food, if I'm eating, I'd rather be kept to myself. And I don't like people following me around. That I do not like. So yeah, I'm always happy to say hi for a few seconds, but I please ask that you do not ask to follow me around. That I do not allow. That's why I'm not a tour guide, ladies and gentlemen. I sometimes offer private tours, but that's why I'm not a full-time tour guide, because I don't like people following me around. Mir says, in terms of overall knowledge, down to the wire personality of connectivity with your surroundings, be able to focus on the subject in hand and get it through to your viewers. You're a genius, says Mir. Thank you, Mir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for seeing my true genius. Thank you, Mir. I appreciate it. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot. I recently saw the show Halston. Big recommendation if you're into New York City fashion history. I watched the show because I'm working on something about fashion. Stay tuned. Crossing fingers, it all goes well. But I was watching the show for research, and the show is really good. But that is based on the real life story of a fashion designer based in New York named Halston. And that guy really saw himself as a true artist. He didn't even use his first name, which I think was Rory or something, Roy. He just called himself Halston. And he had this aura of like, yeah, I am a genius. I love that, and it's based on his real personality. So I highly recommend that. What's the best meal you cook? Great question, Angela. I think my avocado toast is on the level that could easily be Michelin star. No. I think my my avocado toast is a really good dish. I really do make a good carbonara, I think. I've gotten good reviews. Susie says, please don't be like that. I won't. Don't worry, Susie. Don't worry. Got avocado socks on, says Wendy. Oh, cool. You got avocado socks on. I gotta buy some. I already have avocado socks. I gotta buy more. What other items deserve avocado? Burritos. A good burrito with so much guacamole. That's all I gotta say. Reverend Jenny Osario says, I'm naive. What is an avocado toast? Well, Jenny, let me enlighten you on the beauty of avocado toast. It's a very fluffy, thick piece of sourdough bread, freshly baked that morning of. You get a avocado, you toast that bread, but toast it just before it gets too brown. Just you want a light sprinkling of toastedness. And you get that avocado, you take some amazing, rocky, flavorful sea salt and some lime, freshly picked from the trees of Puerto Rico. Squeeze that lime into that salt, take that freshly green avocado that looks buttery smooth, scoop it out, crush it with the avocados. You mix that all together and then slather that on the toasted sourdough bread. Oh. And then you work from there, because the avocado toast is not done there. It's up to you what you do beyond that. For me, I crush pistachios and black pepper and sprinkle it on with some za'atar. This za'atar is a mixture of different herbs, namely thyme, sesame, and there's a third one in there. And I sprinkle all that on top of it. And then drizzle it with a little bit of great olive oil imported from Chile. And a beautiful fried egg on top. That, ladies and gentlemen, is an avocado toast. At least my version. But you can also put tomatoes. You can put different types of tomatoes. You can put a lot of other different things. You can put cheeses as well. Feta cheese really combines well. Goat cheese is good. It depends on the goat cheese. That description is even making me... that description even made me fall in love with avocado toast as K. Wonderful K. I asked FB, but not OYT, are the shirts tax deductible? I'll say this, Ronald. My brand on Urbanist is wearing very colorful shirts. And if you are working in any type of television production where a host is wearing a specific shirt or a specific attire, like Josh Gates wearing that kind of Indiana Jones getup with the hat and everything, all that is considered a uniform. Like you would wear, like a train conductor will wear his uniform. Or like a nurse would wear their uniform. Hence, it is tax deductible. These shirts are my uniform. They're part of the brand. So I'll say that. I like to add a thinly sliced radish for a nice crunch. That's right, Lorraine. That's right. Yeah, you can even make you can make a Hawaiian version. People put fresh salmon on it as well, or smoked salmon too. Like Jimmy Buffett in Hawaiian shirts. Yeah, if it's part of your uniform, it's part of your uniform. That's just me craving cashews and eating, says Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth, hey, Elizabeth, how are you doing? I love cashew. I love cashew butter. Excuse me. What type of Irish cheeses have you tried? None yet. No, nothing yet. I'm just the opposite with my right hand. Everything else is righty. Lois, hey everyone, let Lois know and anyone else that they're watching a little bit behind and press that live button. So let me know if you want me to stick around for a little bit longer, answer any other questions. Feel free to ask me anything outside of no questions on travel or Ireland. I'll answer anything else. What's your off-duty clothes? A tuxedo and an Aston Martin. Susie, I can never tell. What do you study in school? Says tight. I study electrical engineering. I have a degree in electrical engineering. I like how Josh Gates in this show, Expedition Unknown, the intro says he's a degreed archaeologist. So I wonder if when I host a TV show, will they decide to say he's a degreed electrical engineer, even though it makes no relevance to what he's doing. Can you play a musical instrument? No, not really, no. But I can produce. Not produce like myself making the notes and everything, but I can produce an album, creatively direct an album. Mir says, from your urbanist experience, what is the best thing you will take with you going forward? Says Mir. Mir, that's a great question. In life, what causes the most conflict in our lives, I think, from what I've observed, is that we're afraid to be truly ourselves. We feel unsafe to be ourselves. We're afraid that we're going to be judged. We're afraid that we're going to be ousted from maybe a family group or a society or a town or a city. We feel that we might be fun of, or we feel that we might be taken advantage of. And even though logically, consciously, we say, oh no, that won't happen, it's still deep in our subconscious. And that's why in most people's lives all around the world, there are conflicts in everyday life when it comes to other people. And it's because we have that subconscious fear. Everyone does in some sense, whether you like to admit it or not. And what this show has done for me has made me more comfortable with being myself. And more comfortable with what I like to do, who I like to be, how I like to joke around, what I like to talk about, what I find interesting, how I like to travel, how I like to live. And doing this in public with now 400,000 people watching has been a privilege and a challenge to constantly be more of myself, openly and truly. And I could be deleted from every single social platform right now, and I would still feel like I have achieved something that could never be taken away from me, which is myself. And the willingness to share with the world and feeling safe that I can share with the world. Kathy says, do I have a tattoo? No tattoos. Uh, what has been your favorite place on your trips this year? That's a good question. Every single trip this year has been a very special year for me in terms of travel because I was looking back to my trips in Boston and Washington, D.C., and I really loved those trips. But there were basically I just woke up, did the videos, went to sleep, did the same thing next day. But this year, these trips have been different because I've been willing to be more kind of open, willing to be more flexible, to be more looser, both in the show, in the short videos I do, and also in my own personal life. So I have in Mexico, I met so many wonderful people. It was a trip where everything in live video was super challenging because there was the most terrible service, cell phone service I've ever encountered. But everything else was amazing. I met so many wonderful people. It was a place where I felt really kind of connected with the people. Greece was a wild journey. Greece was like going into the home of your family, and there is like so many personalities clashing with each other, and people might be arguing with each other, and people might be there might be disagreements, but yet at the end of the day, you feel like this is family. That's how I felt like in Greece. Of course, obviously, I'm not Greek. I don't have family in Greece. I don't presume to be part of the Greek community by no means, but I felt that. I felt like in Greece, it was this wild journey to become part of the community. And I'm sure if I would spend many more months or a year or two in Greece, easily could have been like that. And then Italy. Italy was challenging in so many ways, and I think that's part of the beauty of traveling in Italy in terms of making live videos and having people stare at me. That was a challenge, but a beautiful challenge because being more in the spotlight is a more opportunity to really be 100% confident in who you are and what you do. 100% confident in how you entertain. And the landscapes of Italy. Wow, those are things that will never leave me. Those are memories that will forever be imprinted into my mind. And now with Ireland. Ireland is a gorgeous place. Meeting some very loyal urbanists who've been watching for so long. Kay, Darren, who you've seen on camera. You did not see Sandra, but it was lovely meeting Sandra. Meeting these wonderful, and Paula as well. Meeting these wonderful super urbanists that have been watching for so long. Marguerite as well, who you saw briefly in Kilkenny. It's such a pleasure to meet the people who've been watching for so long. And especially in the country that's so friendly. People here are so friendly. It's a country that it makes me feel really at ease socially. So every country has been different. And I can't pick one by no means. They all have had special things about them. Hey, Laureen says, your channel is so amazing. You've given us so many opportunities to meet. You created an urbanist ohana around the world. What does ohana mean? Do let me know, Laureen. That's so awesome. We are honored to be part of your urbanist ohana. Oh, and Ronald says something similar to the effect. Oh, Ronald, that's so awesome. Maybe an unfair question, but if you feel like answering, where is the unhappiest place you have ever visited? Ooh, that's a good question. Ohana means family, says Claire. Oh, cool. Ohana. That's cool. Um, the unhappiest I've ever been. It's been Madrid. Madrid was the city I visited where I was the most unhappy. Partly due to personal reasons and partly due to the city. The city wasn't so engaging. But interestingly enough, I have fond memories from it. If that makes any sense. I did not like it, but I had fond memories. I think the challenges in Madrid were something that is worth remembering. I luckily have never experienced a travel where I really want to forget it. I have not experienced that. I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful that hasn't been the case. And that's why I really don't travel kind of to crazy places around the world, because you do run a higher risk of running into a situation like that where you have experiences where you just don't want to really remember. So yeah, I don't have that experience. Ronald says Lorene says like Toretto from Fast and Furious. I don't have friends. Oh wait, I gotta do it a little bit more like Vin Diesel. I don't have friends. I have family. Scariest thing you've encountered all these years, says Panajotis. I've answered this a few times. On live video. Last year, the video I did at Salem by myself. I did an amazing video with a local, Joel. Awesome dude. Really is someone I actually really want to hang out with again, or collaborate with again. I did that, but then I did a live video the next day on my own. Well, not the next day, later that afternoon. And towards about 3/4 into the video, I felt the deepest pit in my stomach that I have ever felt. And I can't explain why. I did not experience anything terrible. But I was talking about an aspect of the story of Salem that's usually not talked about. And I got such a deep pit in my stomach, I almost felt like my heart was going to stop. I was having basically the symptoms of a panic attack. And I never have that. I've maybe only gone through that once before in my life. And I end up realizing, oh, maybe there is a reason why no one talks about that side of the story. Maybe it's not really meant to be talked about. And that was the scariest experience I've ever had on live video. And there's nothing logical. You can listen to the story, you'll know what part of the story I'm talking about. It's something really not talked about in the mainstream. But you could do your research, and that is a real part of the story. But yeah, I felt that deep pit in my stomach. And at that moment I realized, okay, yeah, this is something that no one talks about for some good reason. I don't know what it is. I don't even want to find out. So check out the episode if you want to find out. I love to see more haunted paranormal content, says S Fields. Yeah, I would like to do more. I mean, Salem was it shook me to my bones. But yeah, I would like to do more. Especially ghost stories, a little bit more fun. Veronica says, I don't want to know. I'll continue to drive past the town on my highway. I'm good. Yeah. Were you in the cemetery? Yes, I was. Yeah, Lauren. Yeah. Yep. That's where I talk about a specific topic. And no, it's nothing gruesome. It's a different aspect of the story. I even get a pit in my stomach. Even like I feel a little bit pit in my stomach, even considering to talk about it. So, yeah. Moving on. Well, you do ghost stories in Ireland. There's not that many. I have not encountered too many ghost stories. I was going to do the Hellfire Club, but that was a little bit of a trek from Dublin. It's a very fascinating occult group that did some very weird things. They had something called the Black Mass. And the Black Mass, they would have a black cat sitting at one of the chairs in this long table. And that cat was supposed to symbolize the devil. And according to a few reports from the people who were part of this occult group, the devil did make an appearance. Or at least some malevolent spirit of some sort. So that was an interesting story I wanted to cover, but it was a bit of a trek. I haven't encountered too many other ghost stories here, unfortunately. Teresa says, Father feels that way when he goes to Fort in St. Augustine. Oh, interesting, yeah. Please go to a haunted place in Ireland. Yeah, maybe I'll see if I can find something. There's loads of ghost stories, but some people don't like talking about them. Right, Kay? Yeah. I did talk about Strongbow's ghost because he's rumored to haunt Kilkenny Castle. But yeah, it's tough to... Another topic, very similar to the one in Salem, is the topic of fairies. It's a topic that is a bit hard to research. And people just don't want to talk about that. So it's an interesting topic. It's an aspect of folklore that people just don't want to talk about. And there might be a good reason for it. That's why it goes to show when history is written from a perspective where people feel most comfortable to write the history. It's very rare that people write something that they're really deeply uncomfortable with. And that said, there are aspects of real history out there that are kind of forgotten or kind of covered up because it's just really uncomfortable for anyone to write about it or to investigate it. So that's why certain stories are sometimes very hard to kind of find anything about them. But there is things about them. Fairies, of course, you can't say they're real or not, but there is real folklore about the fairies. This is not really that talked about. Kay says it's bad luck to tell stories about fairies. Right. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say here. Yeah. Where are you going to travel next? Are you going to India? Maybe. Stay tuned. Have you encountered a UFO? I have seen strange objects in the sky that have moved in odd directions. but I don't know what it was. To me, it didn't seem like a bird nor a plane, nor a some type of balloon or something like that. So I've seen objects in the sky that have moved in just weird directions a few times, but otherwise than that, no big sighting. Are fairies negative entities? Says S Fields. Yes, they're associated with being negative entities. Yes. Negativity is you can't be too binary about it, but it's a very kind of low energy. When you talk about fairies, it's the energy. Your energy goes low. Have you been to Area 51? Says Angela. Even if I've been, I could never tell. Even the government admits the UFOs are real. Yep. The government has seen strange objects in the sky. They have admitted to it. The U.S. government, that is, have admitted to seeing strange objects in the sky that don't move like any man-made craft, bird, or some type of object, like a meteor or something like that. Laurie says Tinkerbell is in negative. You know, the thing is that there are, in literature, there are fairies, but they are kind of a different kind, similar to the ones in Shakespeare. They're not really fairies per se. But yeah, you're right, they're fairies. It's just that they're not depicted as being negative. But you know what? There's a theory, if you want to talk a little bit more about superstition, that the reason that Shakespeare died so young was because he was cursed by the fairies, or cursed by the witches because he wrote Macbeth. Ronald says, I swear my ex was an alien from Jupiter. What's your favorite anecdote from history? Funny anecdote from history. That's a good question. Ronald, that's a great question. What's a good anecdote from history? I have a lot of them. That I've told. Sometimes these things I have to I pop up in the spot, but I've said a few funny anecdotes. I gotta think about that. Susie, do you plan on spending Christmas? How do you plan on spending Christmas and the New Year? Oh, I don't know yet. Stay tuned. Do you believe in aliens? Says Bella. I believe that something must exist out there in the universe. The universe is huge. It's almost like being a lizard in the desert. For example, deserts here in the world, maybe the Sahara, there's a few others around the world, have oases. There are small little patches of green in the middle of the desert. This happens. And there's lizards there. Imagine being a lizard in the middle of the desert, especially a super vast one like the Sahara. And your entire life is on this oasis that's very small, amidst this massive barren landscape where there's no sign of life. Maybe for the occasional caravan of Berbers passing through. So from the perspective of this lizard, there is really, because this lizard cannot possibly transport themselves to a place teeming with life, from the perspective of this lizard, there is no life. It is all just a barren landscape. This lizard is alone with the other lizards of the oasis. Nothing more. Maybe for the odd sighting, as I mentioned, of the Berbers passing through. But who's to say that that wasn't just a mirage? Maybe we are those lizards in an oasis. Maybe Earth is an oasis, and we just happen to be in a desert on the cosmic scale. And that's why we haven't seen anything. Any entities, any beings. Because there is much more beyond it. So I think, yeah, I do believe in aliens. I think just we might be in that kind of barren zone in the universe. And there's not much more that we're not seeing right now that we can observe. But to say that there's nothing would be weird. It would be so weird. Just think about it. The observable universe is countless stars. You know, Carl Sagan said billions and billions of stars. But no, they're not even billions and billions. They're not even trillions and trillions of stars. Not even that. It's billions and billions of galaxies that have billions and billions of stars within those galaxies, that have billions and billions of planets within those stars, revolving around those stars. That's billions to the power of 3 in the minimum. It would be weird. Think about that. It would be so weird if we're literally the only living thing in this gigantic universe. I couldn't fathom that. I'd rather not fathom that possibility. It would be weird. Just think about that. Freaks you out when you really think about it, says Susie. Yeah, it could freak you out. But me, I think I would be comforted that we are, it just happen to be in a barren zone in the universe. We happen to be in the desert. We happen to be a tiny little oasis in the cosmic desert. And there is life out there to be seen. It's just that we're a little bit farther away from it. My physics professor said that the universe is infinite, says Rob. Your physics professor said that? Really? Because in the scientific way, as far as I understand it, one could calculate how big the universe is if you had enough numbers. But it is possible to calculate to the power of something, the power of n, whatever. But the universe has to have some type of limit, I think, is what most astrophysicists agree on. But yeah, I mean, no one could truly know. You can't measure it with your own eyes. It's impossible. The universe is expanding faster than we can count. Yeah, it is. It is. We can't imagine how far it goes. It's God's creation, says Georgina. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of mysteries there. There are many planets in the Goldilocks zone out there. There are billions and billions of planets out there in the Goldilocks zone in the Milky Way alone. So, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of possibility for life similar to ours on Earth. Do you fear uncertainties when you live stream? Yeah, I mean that's the risk with live streaming, Ronald, is even in a very mundane way, a live stream can be very boring because there's just not much to see, not much to do. I kind of encountered that today. I mean, there's like bars and restaurants that were nice to that they were opened up, but beyond that, I just felt like there was not much else to see or do, because it didn't feel so comfortable to fully walk around the city. So, yeah. Sometimes you do run at the risk of something being boring, but in a greater level for my life, no, I never felt fear for my life. But of course, there are places that I would be very nervous live streaming. Like I wouldn't live stream in Brownsville, in Brooklyn. I wouldn't live stream. I didn't feel so comfortable live streaming at the Walls yesterday at Belfast. Regardless of what they say about the statistics of it being the most safest place, I did not feel safe. That was my perception. And there were certain streets in Madrid I did not feel safe. I felt like I could have been mugged or jumped at any moment. Luckily, I never felt fear for my life on the live stream. I'm grateful for that. All right, everyone. I'm sticking around for 10 minutes. So feel free to ask me any last remaining questions. It informs what do you do, what do you enter for occupation? Oh, that's a great question. I put filmmaker. Filmmaker is the occupation I put, because it pretty much covers everything I do, which is YouTube videos, freelance filmmaking, which is making documentaries or videos or things like that. Presenting on camera is considered filmmaking, I think, as well. So yeah, filmmaking. Wendy says, you're safe as always. It's important to remind oneself that that is the case. Sometimes your own perception of safety or the lack of safety can really inform what happens in any given situation. For example, there is studies, and I think the military was involved in studying this. And don't quote me, but they said that if you're held at gunpoint and someone threatens your life, and you respond completely counter to how most people respond, which is fear, but instead you respond with laughter, or maybe you don't even acknowledge the weapon or the threat of your life, the chances of that person following through with that threat plummet. People can't really do it. That's why you see this in movies all the time, especially with the villain, or one of the villains. A character threatens the villain's life, and the villain just starts laughing. You can't really follow through because it's completely counter to what you're experiencing. So yeah, I think that could be used in a very positive way. That if you walk through places without any fear, which is easier said than done, the chances of something bad happening to you plummet. And I think it's the same thing. I think you see this with like a vlogger like Bald and Bankrupt. There's a few others out there. They're really kind of wild in where they go. But they go with this kind of sense of this type of feeling that nothing is going to happen to them. And nothing does. Reverend Jenny says, fear is attractive by us. Hey, Matrix, good evening. Not going to test that theory. Yes, do not test that theory. Do not condone that. Do you watch TV? A little bit. I watch Netflix series or streaming. I watched Halston, which was really good. And luckily, it was part of my recent job to watch Halston. Or at least I made it part of my job because I'm researching things about fashion. And I love watching the Marvel series. The Marvel series are so good. Ooh, I love those Marvel series. So Loki, the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and I'm enjoying some of the episodes of What If. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. And I can't wait for season 2 of Love Life, which is on HBO Max. If you want to see a very good show that takes place in New York City, and it's just really good, check out Love Life on HBO Max. Each season it's its own story, so you're not committing to an entire series. So that first series is so good. Love Life. Speaking of fashion, do you feel like what you wear affects your attitude? Yeah, it does. Yeah, inspire life. Yeah, when I'm wearing something I really feel like I look good in, I feel more confident. I feel more. The vibe is there. And I think it's easy to change your vibe. If you're ever feeling kind of down and depressed or nervous, dress to impress. Hey, Reverend Jenny, thank you so much for tuning in. Dress to impress, and then I think you'll really that feeling will arise within you. Hey, Morgan says, because we don't feel disrespected by you. Can you imagine always being judged and scary or mean or nasty for some aesthetic that is not in your heart? That is the eternal things feel as we move. Oh, Morgan, I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm so glad you feel safe watching this show. Everyone is vulnerable to any type of outburst. I think there is such a thing. This is both scientifically proven and also has been explored spiritually for millennia. There is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence means that you learn how to deal with your emotions and you learn how to deal with other people's emotions. And in that way, you can minimize having an outburst or snapping at someone because you're more emotionally intelligent. And it's a skill that you can grow. It's a skill that you can improve over time in life. And I think not enough people learn good emotional intelligence. They think it's something that's not really that important, but it's probably the most important thing in your life, more than anything else. Okay, everyone, I'll stick around let's round it up to 2 hours. This is 1 hour and 50 minutes. 50 minutes. So 10 more minutes. Feel free to ask any last remaining questions. Greetings from Croatia. Hey, Darwin. Nice to see you here. Hey, Wendy F. I've missed all your Ireland streams. Hoping to catch some this weekend. Oh, yeah, definitely do. Waiting for the Urbanist fashion collection to launch. You know, Inkspire Life. I've been very tempted. I would love to go into fashion. Especially seeing how people are doing like these sneaker lines. I would love to revive the Converse mids sneakers, which have basically been discontinued, which is such a shame. It's my favorite sneaker. I would love to like design custom Converse mids. Are there squirrels in Ireland? Asked Stephanie. I think there are. I just haven't seen any. Elizabeth Strain says, watch 6 Feet Under if you haven't seen it. Oh, yeah, that's the show about the funeral home. I've seen people much older than you who are emotionally immature. yeah, a lot of people are emotionally immature. I really enjoyed this convo, says Din, and I'm so glad you did, Din. Thank you so much. Not a question. Says Dimitris. Says, stay curious, my friends. That, apart from your nice catchphrase, it's a really inspiring thing to say. After all, curiosity leads to discovery. It does. It's good to stay curious. A lot of people stop being curious, and then life becomes boring. Why? Why stop being curious? Keep that curiosity. Keep wanting to learn more, or explore more, or feel more, or love more, or enjoy more, or meet more people. Keep that curiosity in whatever shape or form, because that is life. And when I say stay curious, I don't mean just purely intellectually. Not intellectually. It's awesome to stay curious intellectually, but consider also staying curious emotionally, or in people. Be curious about people. Be curious about feeling. Be curious about how it feels to just sit at a bench and stare at the world. What's for breakfast tomorrow? I gotta wake up early. Coffee shops here open so late, like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. I gotta wake up super early. Luckily, there is a coffee place right next door that opens up at 8 a.m. Hopefully they have some type of food. So I don't know yet what I'm gonna eat for breakfast. You should do a collab with the fashion designer. I would love that. That would be so cool, Laureen. Love your storytelling with each country you visit. Are you going to visit the County Louth, the land of legends? I'll see. It depends if I can get there via public transportation or a tour, or if I meet any other awesome Irish locals who would love to go for a drive. How do you manifest your dream? By talking intimately to the universe, asked Maria. So Maria asks, how do you manifest? So manifestation is the concept of bringing something into reality, making a dream come true. That's a good question. Manifestation could be seen metaphysically, like repeating something in the mirror and it'll come true, or it could be seen psychologically, or it could be seen very physically. It can be seen a bunch of different ways, but I think the best way I've learned to manifest, which in whatever way you want to see it, is get into that feeling. Get into the feeling of what you want. Don't just say what you want. Don't just want. But get into that feeling. Ooh. Cue the music. For me, ever since I was very young, I've wanted to make movies. And, making movies is, when you think about it, logically, it's a huge endeavor. It's a massive endeavor. There's hundreds of people involved. There's people giving you lots of money. Someone has to give you money, some type of studio or some type of investor, because movies generally are not made out of thin air. And very rarely are they made on a very small budget. So that want to make movies, I have felt it over and over again. I haven't made a movie yet, a full movie yet, but I made a 45-minute documentary about fashion. And why did I make that 45-minute documentary about fashion is because I felt that feeling of making a big movie by the action of making a documentary. I feel also that when I tell a story and it feels particularly cinematic, I feel it deep down inside like I'm making a movie. So that feeling, I think, is what really drives me forward. And things align. To tell you very briefly what I'm working on, a producer saw my fashion documentary and is curious to work on something else about fashion. So who knows where you would lead, but the thing is, if you feel the feeling, then you'll get the intuition of where to go next. You'll know where to go next. And it might not make sense. Your intuition, the universe, people, whatever, something might tell you to go this way. And you might be thinking, but no, logically it's better to go that way. But if you feel that intuition is telling you to go this way, follow it. Because if you already have that feeling, you're being led in the right direction. I think that feeling is the most important thing. If you want to be in love, feel love. Feel the romance. Feel the connection with someone. Feel that hand-holding. If you want to make a movie, feel them making the movie. If you want to be a writer, feel writing something and it pouring out of you, and you just can't stop. Can't stop writing for hours. And then you look at the clock and you realize, oh my God, it's been like 10 hours I've been writing. Feel it like I'm feeling it right now. Someone earlier asked me to answer one more question, is do I want to write? I have written one book and I had that same exact feeling. I wrote the book and I want to write another book. So feel it and it'll come true. I always second guess myself, working on it though. Yeah. Second guessing is a fool's errand. What city in Ireland are you in right now? Cork. Matrix. And live with the end in mind. Like you have what you already want. Yes, indeed, Inspired Life. Really enjoyed your chat. Hope you have fun in Cork. Looking forward to more videos in Ireland, says Leanne. Yeah. Why would you make a movie with your iPhone? I'm very tempted to make a movie with my iPhone. Yeah, I've already made a few dance films, short films with my iPhone. It's always good to see you relax in these Q&As. Thanks as always, says Phil. Oh, thank you so much, Phil. Cork, so you're South. Yes, I am indeed. The South. I'm reading it now, finally. Yes! Susie, yes, you can read Retrowave. Search Retrowave on Amazon. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to lend your support to Urbanist so I can continue making these videos, feel free to become a patron. You also get access to bonus videos, patreon.com/Urbanist. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. And also, stay curious, my friends. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.